Hi all, this is a Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest collectibles out of Japan. Please check the description of this video for more details. Now this video, rather than reviewing figures, is actually going to be more of an educational video, and today I'm going to talk about how you actually get figures in Japan, all the different types of figures in Japan. And there's quite a lot to cover, so I'm probably going to speak fairly quickly. But if you do have questions about anything covered in this video, please get in touch with us, preferably by the email or by Facebook, which is all the details are in the description of this video, as I said. So the majority of figures that we sell in Japan are actually produced by this company here, which is Banpresto, if I can get their logo in focus. And Banpresto actually originally were a video games company, but now they're better known for figurines. Now, Banpresto is actually owned by Bandai Namco Holdings, and Bandai also own Mega House. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Mega House. Now, the main difference between the two lines of figures is that Mega House sell their figures in shops, so you can actually go to shops and buy them, whereas Banpresto don't. I mean, you can get them like in collectible shops and secondhand and stuff, but when they're initially released, you can't buy Banpresto figures. Now, you might be wondering, why is that? There's two main reasons. The first reason is that there's no initial price that you can use as like a benchmark. If a figure sells for $50 in shops, then people have in their mind that the figure is worth $50. When it's used as a prize, you don't know how much it's really worth, and so it's purely up to the free market to decide how much that figure is worth based on, the popularity of the character and just basically, supply and demand economics. The second reason is so there isn't market manipulation. And you're going, market manipulation? That sounds, like a finance term. But it does happen. If you can buy figures in shops, then, people can just go and buy lots of stock and then, sell them over time for, expensive prices. And a good example of that, and I thought that was a bit silly at first as well, but a good example of that is the Nintendo Amiibo, because I know they weren't just released in Japan, they were released worldwide. And for those of you who don't know what a Nintendo Amiibo is, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the Nintendo figures that were released. And, they sold out in shops very quickly. There were some figures in that line that, not many were made of, because Nintendo thought they weren't very popular characters, but there were people collecting the sets, and even when they were like available in shops, they were selling online for like 7 or 8 times their retail value, which is just ridiculous. So I have to admit, it does sort of make sense what Banpresto does. So now let's get into how do you actually get Banpresto figures. There's two ways. One way is through crane games, and the other way is through Ichiban Kujis. So maybe I'll cover the Kujis first. So Ichiban Kuji literally means number one lottery, and you know if something's an Ichiban Kuji if you see this logo. And basically the way this works is you can go to a place like a convenience store or somewhere like that, and you can buy a ticket. And that ticket's quite expensive. It usually costs about $7. But sometimes there's premium ones that cost you $10, and you're guaranteed to get a prize, but it may not be a good prize. So usually the A or the B or even the C Kuji, so A is the best. You can see this one particularly is a C. And it depends on the promotion, but sometimes it goes down to E or F or even G. And the minor prizes are things like key rings or stickers or stuff like that. And as you go up, the prizes are better. So sometimes you have to buy a lot of tickets. Sometimes you might have to buy 10 tickets. You might have to spend $70 to get one of these figures. And the Kujis are usually more valuable and expensive because they're larger, better quality figures. And basically they're too large to have available in a crane game. But that's not a, firm rule. Sometimes there are small Kujis. So I actually have a Dragon Ball Kuji. So this is Prince Vegeta. So he's actually quite small. So this was a C prize. And there's some really cool crane game figures released as well. But generally that's kind of the rule for that. So we'll have a quick look at this Kuji. So this is a Luffy. You can see it's a C Kuji. It was part of the change of generation line of Kujis, which was sort of the Marineford when Whitebeard dies and the new sort of rookies come in. This is the same figure, but it's open, so I can just show you. So it actually comes with a stand. It's got Monkey D. Luffy. So pretty. It's hard to sort of show there, but pretty nice. There. So this is kind of like a standard size figure. So you can see it's pretty much the same size, but usually they're bigger. So remember, this is a C prize, so you can see it's a little bit bigger. So that kind of gives you a feel for what it looks like. You can see here it's got all the Ichiban Kuji stuff on the back. So that's the C prize. I actually do happen to have the A prize here. So this was a Goldie Roger special color version. So sometimes I have different versions, although I haven't seen a non-colored special colored version, so I don't know. But if I compare those two, you can see the the difference in size there. So and this one does actually have a gold base. So that's actually quite a large figure. And I do have one more. So that's an iPhone 5 case. So that just gives you an idea just how big that box is. And I'm going to cover one more thing with these Kujis. This is a Shanks, and this was a Marineford promotion. So this one is about the same size as a MSP. I know a lot of you like the MSP, so you can see it's sort of in proportion with that. Maybe it's better I show that. So it's pretty much the same size. This one does have a base as well. So pretty cool figure. Now the other thing that Banpresto does is they have double chance. So when you win a Kuji, you can also go into a double. So this was an A Kuji. You can go into a double chance draw, and you can win a double chance figure, and they're extremely rare and collectible because usually there's only 100 released, and they're a slightly different version of the standard one. So there is a double chance version. Not all of them have double chance versions, but the double chance version of this one is Mugiwara version, and he has like a Mugiwara. Mugiwara means straw hat. So it has a straw hat, and the difference in price is like more than 10 times. Like they're extremely rare and collectible. It depends on which double chance it is. Like some of the double chance ones are not as expensive, but any of them are rare, and they also come with a certificate of authenticity. So these are the ones that are available in Crane Games. So usually a standard size about 180 mil or 18 centimeters for the Crane Game, but sometimes they're a bit bigger. The MSPs, which I showed you before, are also available in Crane Games, and they're not rigged. I don't know if rigged's the right word, but they're designed. They're not like Western Crane Games where you pick up an item and drop it in the hole. They're designed that you like knock them. So you either knock them through bars, or there's different ones. So this was a Creator, which is a new release. There's a Zordon coming out soon and a Mihawk. So I'm just going to keep talking while I review these. So some people are really good and can get them in a few goes, but the standard person, you're usually going to spend probably at least $20 to get one of these. Sometimes they're really they're really hard, and the better quality the figure, and the more popular I guess it is, then the harder they make them to get, because the Crane Game, they call them game centers in Japan. They don't want to lose money, right? So they don't want you getting really good figures for like a couple of bucks. So they make them really hard. So this is a Zoro. And then this is a Doflamingo. This one's actually quite big. This is a really big figure, really cool figure. So you can see on the end, for use as prize in Japan only. So the Crane Game ones will have this logo, And the Ichiban Kujis, as I showed you before, will have this logo. So I hope that was educational for you. I know I covered a lot of content. It's still got to 10 minutes in this video, which I didn't want to. But if you do have more questions, please get in touch with us, preferably by Facebook. Yeah, so you probably do have a few questions about everything I've covered here. But basically, to summarize, so Banpresto figures you can't buy. You can get them either through Kujis or Crane Games. And we typically don't stock that many Kujis just because they're very big. And so, they take a lot of room to store. They're hard to ship. So a lot of the stuff we tend to sell are the stuff that's available in Crane Games. Because, they're cheaper, they're more affordable for people. They're still great quality figures. So a lot of the stuff on our store is from Crane Games. But if you want to know more of the Kujis that have been released or that you can get, we can definitely stock them or get them in for you. We certainly do stock Kujis as well. So if you want more information about that, feel free to get in touch. But that's some Ichiban Kujis and Crane Game One Piece figures, and of course, as pretty much any series will have these kind of figures. So thanks for watching. See you next time.